Number 2, Gina, Armini.
When you see this man, what do you think of him?
Cool.
He's attractive, he's built. But tell me, would you feel any differently about him if I told you that he was transgender? Because he is. And if you would, then that's why I'm here today. I'm here to argue that in the LGBT community, the T, which stands for transgendered, is neglected by our generation ever since the LGBT community became more prominent after homosexuality was dismissed as a mental illness in the 80s, and this neglect needs to end. As an active member of several LGBT groups across the state, someone comfortable with my own sexuality because I'm gay, and a friend to many transgendered people, I've learned a lot about this at this point. So hopefully you will learn about what it means to be transgender, as well as how to respect that portion of the LGBT community. Today I'm going to cover what it means to be transgendered, how these people are viewed today in society, as well as why this neglect needs to end. So for those of you who don't know yet, let's go into what it means to be transgender. Being transgendered has several mental and physical components. Mentally, transgendered people don't identify with the gender assigned to them at birth, and according to the Gender Dysphoria organization, this is what's known as gender dysphoria. And it causes extreme depression amongst these people because every single day of their lives they are faced with the incorrect presentation, and they are always mistaken by the public as the wrong gender. One of my best friends, Mike Bogaranda, who is transgendered, gave me this quote. He said, "I knew when I was little, I just never came out. You always know who you are, and you want your physical presentation to match how you identify internally. I knew I wasn't like other girls. I dressed like a male. And then later on, once I found out about being transgendered, I knew what I had to do." Physically, the process is aimed to match the body with the mind. While these people experience this extreme depression, they continue anyway. They start with the RLE, the real life experience, of living publicly as the correct gender that they know that they are, and after a certain amount of time, once they receive a recommendation from a mental health professional, usually a consultant psychiatrist with experience with gender identity, they'll begin hormones. And according to Transgender Explored, for FTM, which is female to male transgender, they'll receive testosterone. And for MTF, male to female transgender, they'll receive a variety of estrogens. After this, they'll usually begin to plan surgery, although surgery is much more complicated depending on the person's desires, where they live, their income, insurance policy, as well as whether or not the hospital is even willing to do it. So now that you guys have a basic understanding of what it means to be transgendered, let's look at how they're viewed in society. Today, the transgender community faces heavy neglect and extreme discrimination in most aspects of life compared to the gay community. A large amount of the public faces truly horrifying hatred in detrimental areas. According to Deborah Weiss of the ABA Journal, in a recent survey in 2011 of 6,500 transgender people, the survey found that they are 4 times more likely to live in extreme poverty, twice as likely to be unemployed and often homeless, and 40 times more likely to attempt suicide than the general population. In addition to these long-term statistics, I've discovered from my own personal experience with my friends that this discrimination continues on a daily basis almost anywhere by rude parents, ignorant people, slurs in class, both by students and teachers, both of which I've witnessed, even assault and extreme violence. And because of this, there is rarely one day where my friends go without discrimination. So with these horrible conditions on this community, they are still neglected compared to the gay community. While the US has repealed the don't ask, don't tell policy in the military, making sexuality no longer an issue, they've legalized gay marriage in several states, focusing on the battle of Prop 8 on California, which has been publicized all over the country so that everyone knows what's going on, as well as several prominent gay figures in the media, such as Ellen DeGeneres, Neil Patrick Harris, Rachel Maddow, the list continues, as well as further progress made on adoption by gay couples. But the one only thing that prominent in the transgender community is the attempted suicide rate of 41%, which I will tell you from my personal experience is completely accurate, because 2 out of 3 of my transgendered friends have attempted suicide and been hospitalized. So with all this hatred circulating the country, we have to stand up for these people and understand why we're doing so. These issues of inequality and discrimination have existed in our country for hundreds of years throughout multiple walks of life, and as always, we need to end it. Looking back to the ideas behind the founding of our country and equal rights, these ideas confirm that this discrimination is completely unjust. According to Jim Powell of the Freeman, John Locke, a brilliant man whose ideas inspired the founding of our country and of liberty that we still hold today, said that no one ought to harm another in his life, health, liberty, or possessions. But when we take these words and apply them to the transgender community, are they held to be true? Unfortunately, no, because these 4 areas are damaged every single day when it comes to transgendered people. As well as logical reasoning, more personal reasons are relevant as well. As one human to another, I'm telling every single one of you that no man is superior to another once we take into account the size of the universe. We are all equal in our inferiority, and we have absolutely no authority to neglect our equals on this microscopic planet. These people are my friends. They are my family. They are people on this campus who have sat in these seats. They are people standing in front of you in the cafeteria. They are people with sisters, brothers, mothers, and fathers trying to achieve as much happiness as they can in this limited world. They are all as human as you and I, and they deserve to be treated that way. Now, to collect everything, let's go back over some key areas. Today, I argued that in the LGBT community, the T, which stands for transgendered, is neglected by our generation ever since the LGBT community became more prominent after homosexuality was dismissed as a mental illness in the 80s, and this neglect needs to end. I covered what it means to be transgendered, how these people are viewed today in society, as well as why this discrimination is completely unjust. So I sincerely hope that when you walk out of this room today, you will take with you what I've said here, and if you ever witness this discrimination, you'll have the heart to end it. Thank you.